we're going to figure out the boiling points of methanol and water. And so what I have started here is I got 2 Erlenmeyer flasks, or just referred to as flasks. I have put 80 mLs of methanol into this one, and I labeled my bottle or my flask, and I put 80 ml of distilled water into this flask. Please wear safety goggles when you work with the methanol, just so you don't get anything in your eyes. The other thing is methanol is highly flammable, so you have to use a hot plate, not an open flame for this. And the other thing is the fumes are toxic. So it's okay, we're using such small that it's not going to hurt us, just kind of doing this small experiment, but you don't want to stick your nose right on top of the flask and breathe in the fumes. So just a little caution. So next we're going to turn on the heating pad here. Pretty hot. The other knob is for a stirring rod, which we're not using in this lab, so that one should stay off. We're going to put both of these on here, and then later on when you need to remove the flask, it might be hot, so you want to use one of these. And then also you don't want to melt the countertop, so we have these hot pads. They're ceramics, and we're going to stick one on each here. So now we need to also get thermometers, and you just want to make sure that the thermometers are calibrated and showing the correct temperature. So what's most important is that, first of all, you figure out which side is Fahrenheit and which one is Celsius. And so on this thermometer, the Celsius on the right side, you're going to have one for each of the flasks. And so just to make sure that they're not showing different temperatures. So right now it's room temperature, it's around 22 degrees C. And so I'm just going to double check that both of them are showing that, and they are. So that way we're actually doing a fair comparison of the boiling points in this experiment. So next we're just going to wait. Also the other thing, when you stick a thermometer down and it touches the bottom like this, it will pick up a slightly higher temperature than it's actually going to be, because it's picking up the hot plate. So when you're measuring the actual boiling point, you want to have the thermometer suspended with your hand like this into the solution and not touching the bottom. But in this case, we're just going to leave it in, and then later on when it's boiling, we're going to lift it up and let it calibrate and read it. So for now, we're going to just wait for one of these fluids to start boiling, and then we're going to come back and record that into our table down here. And I got some digital thermometers out, so it's easier for you to see the actual boiling point and record that into your lab notebook. And so if you take a look here, this digital thermometer is showing the boiling point of the methanol right now. So take a moment, write this number down into your lab notebook or lab manual, and then we're done with this part. So we're going to move this off the hot plate and wait for the water to be done. So we're done with that. Use this, and we'll just put it right there. And then now we just have to wait for the water to start boiling and do the same for the water. The water is boiling, and so now you can take a look here at this thermometer and write down that number. So this is showing degree C, and write that into your lab manual, and then we're done with this part of the experiment. So what I have here are two flasks. One has methanol in it and one has ethanol in it, and both are now boiling. Right now I'm taking the temperature of the methanol, and you can see that it's about 66 degrees C, and it's boiling. And so if we take the temperature of the ethanol, I'll stick it in here and we'll equilibrate and we'll come back to that, we're going to see that it's higher. And this molecule here, this is the methanol. Methanol has one carbon and then a hydroxyl group, this OH group. If we do a space filling model, it looks like this. Ethanol, on the other hand, is one carbon longer. It has two carbons and then the hydroxyl group, and the space filling model looks kind of like this doggy looking structure. It's kind of cute. So the overall length of this molecule is longer than that of the methanol. And so why we get a higher boiling temperature on ethanol has to do that these molecules are next to each other in the solution, and when they're longer, they have more surface area for interactions. And so another way that I can show this, let's say this is our methanol molecule, a little short wood piece, and here is our ethanol molecule, a little longer. Well, because they're having attractive forces between the molecules, we can have those bonds be represented by Velcro. And then in the ethanol scenario, we have more surface area to interact. And so I think it would be pretty clear that for us to separate the two methyl molecules here, I would have to apply a small force to get them separated. While in an ethanol, and you have more of them in a 3D structure, but there is more surface area for interaction between the molecules. And so I would have to apply a lot more force to separate these. Well, then when it comes to boiling point, what's actually happening here is that we are applying heat, and the kinetic energy of these molecules, they're starting to slide past each other, and when they start boiling, they have so much kinetic energy that some of them are escaping out of solution into gaseous form, and that's what boiling is. So in any way, we can take a look at our ethanol now. You can clearly see that the boiling point is higher for our ethanol. It's 79. And so the reason that ethanol has higher boiling point is because we have more interaction, more attractive forces between the molecules. So it takes more force or more energy in form of heat to separate those molecules apart from each other. So the general rule in chemistry is that the larger the molecule, the more force or kinetic energy you need to separate the molecules, hence a higher boiling point. As we see in this lab, water is a very small molecule. It only has 3 atoms, but still, you might remember water boiled at 100 degrees C, and so obviously there is something else going on there, and that is those hydrogen bonds. Those hydrogen bonds are much, much stronger than the Velcro. So if I could make another molecule of these wood pieces, I could, for example, put like real super glue between and like really have to pry it apart, and that would be represented as a higher boiling point. So those hydrogen bonds are stronger attractive forces between the molecules.